Smoking cigarettes is so goddamn cool. I wish I
Yeah,
was
but
still
what are you,
cool
but
like
what are
you.
you, but I mean, what are you fighting against here? All we've been able to do very quickly is reduce this down to preference. And if it's just preference, well, it's my preference to smoke. It's your
Yeah,
preference
but
to have this
again,
society. Those
but
aren't good grounded foundations for an argument.
you just haven't. Sure, you can say that, but it's just, I don't know. That you still haven't won the argument. At best, what you've done is tie.
What we have here is Andrew Wilson absolutely dismantling Dave Smith in a brutal back and forth that exposes just how flimsy Dave Smith's arguments really are. We're talking about a masterclass in debate where Andrew Wilson doesn't just push back, he annihilates the weak logic being thrown around. This debate dives into force doctrine, morality, and self-ownership. And Dave Smith, yeah, he just keeps getting trapped in his own contradictions. From fumbling his arguments on smoking versus homosexuality to flipping positions on preference versus force, Dave Smith doesn't even seem to know where he stands. Andrew Wilson, cool, composed, and making it painfully clear that if you don't have the ability to enforce your position, you're just throwing around opinions. Let's get into it.
You're not right in that. What you're right in is saying that, and by the
I
way,
am
I
if the
agree with
person
you.
says you shouldn't.
Huh?
If the person says that you should not do thing X, the other person says why, that is your burden.
No, not exactly.
It is.
It's okay. So you say someone shouldn't be gay.
Yeah. That would be my burden to make the demonstrable argument. Yeah.
And the same way that someone said to you, you shouldn't smoke, and then they say, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
So the burden falls to you. Why not?
No, the burden would fall to them. Why not?
Wait, the burden can't fall to them both times.
Yeah, it would fall to them both times. So if you ask me, why is homosexuality wrong? If I assert that it is, the burden's on me to demonstrate why it is. If you say smoking is wrong,
Okay,
and
so
I
why?
say, okay, why is
so-
smoking wrong? The burden falls on you.
Okay,
Both
fine.
times.
Because it puts a burden on the
wait,
healthcare
hold on. So the burden for homosexuality falls to the person doing it, right?
No, the burden would fall on the person saying you shouldn't do it.
So that's you. So what do you say to that?
Well, I have several arguments against homosexuality. The first of which being it's a non-reproductive promotable activity, which is terrible for fucking society.
Smoking's bad too.
Can be, perhaps, but it does not promote.
By the way, I'm so pro
it does not.
smoking.
I would say that
For the record,
smoking.
I support smoking.
I would say, hang on. I would say that knowing that you're going to have a cigarette after you have sex leads to the reproductive activity of sex even more, Dave.
That's a weak argument, Andrew.
Why are you laughing, Dave? You know it's great.
Listen, as I said at the beginning, I picked an argument I didn't believe in at all.
Fair enough.
Man, I think it's so lame that I vape and you smoke. You win.
It is fucking lame. Stop fucking vaping, dude. What the hell is wrong with you?
You know what it was?
Rochelle, do you have a last comment? Because we
I'll
have two
tell
more
you.
callers to get to, and we're running out of time. So last comment,
Yeah,
real quick.
because both put a burden on the healthcare system. Whether you're spreading STDs or you are getting lung cancer, you're putting a
why is
burden
that
on
bad?
the healthcare system.
Why is that bad?
Because you're costing money for everybody who's paying in, and
Why is that bad?
Because we want to live in a functional society where everything is super expensive.
So it's just down to your preferences. You want to live in a functional
Everything is
society.
down to
No, she's got a better. Listen, Rochelle's not doing the best.
No,
Rochelle,
it's not a good
but
argument. It's
no,
coming down to
it's
preferences,
decent.
bro.
Yeah,
No, it's not
because
decent.
you're imposing your will on other people, and so there's an argument there. By the way,
No,
I'm
it's
not gonna
preferential.
argue against smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is so goddamn cool. I wish I was
but
still
what are you?
cool
But
like
what are you? But I mean, what are you fighting against here? All we've been able to do very quickly is reduce this down to preference. And if it's just preference, well, it's my preference to smoke. It's your preference to have this society. Those aren't good grounded foundations for an argument.
You just haven't.
Oh, and there it is. Andrew Wilson just torches Dave Smith's entire position. Like, this is the mic drop moment. Dave Smith gets backed into a corner and has to admit that it all boils down to a subjective preference, which means he has no real argument. And Andrew Wilson, cool as ever, just laying down facts. If your argument can't stand on anything stronger than, well, I just prefer it this way, then you've already lost.
Sure, you can say that, but it's just, I don't know. That you still haven't won the argument. At best, what you've done is tie.
I don't need to win the argument. If you say it's just a preference and I say it's a preference back, you haven't justified why I shouldn't do the thing. So therefore, I'll just continue to do the thing.
But
I don't need to.
So
it's not my burden. It's not my burden.
I think what Andrew said, because the extension of this argument, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, where you're going is this is why force doctrine is what's important, right? Because you need to persuade, you have to have some sort of backing, and you need to be able to persuade and be able to use force to stop Andrew, because otherwise it seems self-evident to us, like, well, yes, a workable healthcare system is good, but where do we ground our morality from? Well, Christian ethics or the ethics of God. If you don't have those ethics, at the end, your underpinning is going to be subjective in some way. And if
and so it's just going to come down to who can enforce whatever their preference is.
If the argument is that whoever can enforce their will be able to,
yeah, that's right. But that's what the argument of preference always comes down to. That's right. That's my whole argument. That is my whole argument.
But no one's arguing that. That's clearly. Now, Andrew, Joe Biden and his administration can enforce their will on you.
That's right. But the thing is can they do it from a justified position or a preferential position?
But now, now you just moved back into a different territory. So can they justify it? Okay, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but if it's not justified, it's a preference. And I don't think might makes right, but you would agree with me that might makes.
Dave Smith is literally admitting that he has no moral foundation to stand on. Andrew Wilson has been hammering this point from the start, and now Dave Smith is basically conceding if you can't enforce your position, it's just preference. No force, no power. Andrew Wilson wins this debate by a landslide.
I just want to say both of you guys are a bunch of bitches. Like, vape, cigarette. Why don't you get a cigar, you guys? Cigar.
All right, fair enough.
Wait. I do smoke.
I know. Cigars. Shut up, Andrew. This is for the. Shut up.
Go ahead, Glenn, with your question.
One, I have a problem with Dave talking about us motorcycle riders driving really fast. Okay, don't ever do that again. I will find you.
Come find me, motherfucker.
So the argument seems to be more based on what Christian ethics versus libertarian. Like, what is a libertarian? A libertarian is just a conservative that likes drugs.
What?
All right.
Yeah, like every libertarian I know wants to promote shrooms and drugs and stuff like that.
But why, Glenn? It's because they own themselves, right?
Yeah.
That's I think the heart of this.
I agree.
Come on.
I agree.
I mean,
and what is the Christian who wants to ride a motorcycle and not do shrooms? Does he not own himself?
That's me.
That's me.
Okay, so do you not own yourself?
Yeah, I'm not sure that he does.
Actually, see, this is what's so stupid about this is that someone wanting to do mushrooms is the same claim of self-ownership as someone not wanting to do mushrooms.
How?
Because your claim is that you own yourself, so you don't want to do it.
Listen, how about this?
Wait, that doesn't logically follow, Dave.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. So
what doesn't logically follow?
If you say, well, nobody owns you and you don't own you, so you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? Because there's no ownership of anything, right? Then you can do mushrooms. However, if you make the claim that we ought to be able to do mushrooms without anybody enforcing their will on us, then that is making a different claim, which is that you ought not do this because it's bad because blank.
Okay, wait, hold on. So you're saying you ought to be able to do mushrooms, but still not do them?
No, that's not what I said.
I thought that was what you said.
Let me explain it again. Assume that nobody owned anything. We're in fucking socialism utopia land, okay? There's no ownership of anybody. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. That doesn't actually prove you own yourself because you can do mushrooms. But if you say the reason you should be able to do mushrooms, absent somebody coming in and telling you you can't, right? That's a different claim. That's saying you ought not do that because you own yourself. So you're actually conflating two different claims.
No, I don't think I am. So let's say you're in that socialist utopia and someone hands a bunch of mushrooms out to everybody and you go, I don't want to do these.
Yeah.
That could easily be construed as you saying, I own myself.
But what if they go, you're going to fucking do them. You're going to fucking do them whether you like it or not. I'm stuffing them down your mouth.
So you would be violating that person's
right. So now we have a second claim. So what's happening is the reason you have a non sequitur here is because you claim if nobody owns anything, then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But nobody disagrees that that is the case. It's only if you are making an ought, you can only do X because you own yourself. That's where we have a problem with the claim.
Let's be real. This wasn't even close. Dave Smith tried to hold his ground, but by the end, Andrew Wilson left him with nothing but contradictions and weak justifications. This whole debate just proved that force doctrine matters. Without the ability to back up your stance with real enforcement, all you've got is empty opinions. Andrew Wilson, logical, ruthless, and completely unshaken. Dave Smith, scrambling, backpedaling, and ultimately conceding. If this were a fight, Andrew Wilson would have walked away without a scratch. So, I mean, yeah, this was a masterclass in debate. And if you didn't see it that way, rewatch it, because Andrew Wilson just ended Dave Smith's argument